Let's jump right into this explainer and demystify exactly what economics really is by looking at how its definition has actually evolved over time. We live in a world marked by just incredible scientific progress. But when we talk about science, we really have to distinguish between the natural sciences, like physics or chemistry, where you can literally test things in a lab, and social sciences. Economics is very much a social science. It's a behavioral science. And to truly understand it, we need to trace how our greatest historical thinkers have tried to pin it down over the centuries.
So, to wrap our heads around this fascinating field, we're going to take a structured, chronological journey through four brilliant minds. We'll start with the Queen of Sciences and ancient origins, jump to the classical school of Adam Smith, pivot over to Alfred Marshall's welfare focus, and finally land on the modern reality of scarcity defined by Lionel Robbins.
Section 1. The Queen of Sciences. Let's set the foundation by looking at the absolute basics of the term itself. What exactly is economics? It's a question we hear all the time, right? But the answer is so much deeper than just money, stock markets, or complex math equations. At its heart, because human behavior can't just be bottled up and tested in a laboratory, the laws of economics are really statements about general human tendencies. It's fundamentally the study of how we act and how we make decisions.
And honestly, the very origin of the word illustrates this perfectly. It comes from the Greek term oikonomia, which literally translates to management of the household. So way before it was about global trade or inflation, at its absolute core, this whole field is just about how we manage our daily households and our daily lives.
In fact, because it deals with the most crucial economic aspects of human behavior, specifically how human beings constantly try to satisfy unlimited wants with highly limited means, the famous modern economist Paul Samuelson gave it a seriously prestigious title. He referred to economics as the Queen of Social Sciences. As human society changed, our understanding of managing the household scaled up and fundamentally transformed. We can trace this evolution from the ancient Mauryan period to 1776, 1890, and right up into the 1930s. Section 2. Kautilya and State Wealth, the ancient foundations of political economy. Let's start our journey in the ancient Mauryan period.
We kick things off with a microscopic view of statecraft from Kautilya. He was a great statesman, philosopher, economist, and royal advisor, who you might also know as Chanakya or Vishnugupta. He authored the ancient Indian political treatise, the Arthashastra. If we break that word down, Artha means wealth, and Shastra means science. So it literally implies the science of acquiring and managing wealth. Essentially, it's a massive treatise on political economy in its broadest possible sense.
Now, what's really fascinating here is that Kautilya's primary focus was entirely on the government's role. He believed the creation of wealth was the primary means to ensure the overall welfare of the state. He didn't just theorize, though. He insisted on the absolute need for efficient administrative machinery for good governance. For him, wealth wasn't about individual greed. It was the essential tool the state needed to actually take care of its people.
Section 3. Adam Smith's Wealth Science. Jumping forward many centuries to 1776, we enter the classical school of thought.
Here we meet the man widely regarded as the father of economics, classical economist Adam Smith. Out of all his literary contributions, he is most famous for formalizing the field with his incredibly influential 1776 work, An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations. Through this work, he defined economics purely and simply as a science of wealth.
The absolute crucial point of Smith's wealth-oriented definition is this concept of laissez-faire. It's a French term that essentially means let do, but in economics it specifically means the non-intervention of the government. Notice the massive shift here. He is arguing directly against the heavy centralized government intervention that Kautilya championed centuries earlier. Instead of the state managing things, Smith believed heavily in nature's law in economic affairs. He focused intensely on capital and wealth accumulation, and he championed the division of labor as a core aspect of growth theory. For the classical school of the 18th century, generating wealth was literally the center of the economic universe.
Section 4. Marshall's welfare shift. But, ideas always evolve. By 1890, the narrative completely shifts with the neoclassical school of thought.
Neoclassical economist Professor Alfred Marshall comes along and essentially says, wait a minute, we're missing the big picture here. He argued that economics isn't simply a cold, calculated study of wealth and capital accumulation. No, it is a behavioral science focused on material welfare and, most importantly, the ordinary man. In his 1890 book Principles of Economics, Marshall gave us this beautiful, welfare-oriented definition. Economics is a study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. He elaborated that it examines the part of individual and social action which is closely connected with attaining and using the material requisites for well-being. He brilliantly pulled the science back to the human element. It's not just about money for the sake of money. It's about what that money buys to create a better, more comfortable life for everyday people.
Section 5. Robbins and Scarcity. Finally, we arrive in the 20th century, specifically 1932, for the modern reality of economics.
Lionel Robbins delivers what is now the most popular and widely accepted definition of economics today. In his 1932 book, An Essay on the Nature and Significance of Economic Science, he completely transitions the focus away from welfare and brings us face to face with the harsh reality of scarcity. He defines it as a science studying human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses.
It's a brilliant distillation of the problem we all face every single day. He breaks it down into 4 undeniable logic steps. First, human wants, our ends, are basically unlimited. You get one thing, you immediately want another. Second, our means, our money, our time, are comparatively limited. Third, because of this, wants have to be gradable by priority. We have to rank what matters most. And fourth, our means have alternative uses. If you spend your money on one thing, you literally cannot spend it on another. You are forced to choose.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this question to chew on. When you look at your own life, your own budget, and your own oikonomia, your household management, which of these historical thinkers really captures your reality? Are you trying to accumulate wealth like Adam Smith? Are you focused on material well-being like Alfred Marshall? Or are you just trying to balance your endless wants with very limited means like Lionel Robbins suggested? Economics isn't just dry history or math. It's the study of you, making choices every single day. Keep that in mind the next time you have to make a tough call about how to spend your time or your resources.